Welcome to Foundations TV, everybody. We are here in our studio with a wonderful guest who has had probably more people in front of his camera than he has been in front of the camera himself. But we managed to get him in front of the camera because we really did want to speak to him about his own journey as a photographer. We have Nabil Kapasi with us in the Foundations TV studio today, who is the director of the Wedding Story USA. Welcome, Nabil, to Foundations TV.
Thank you, Gauri. Glad to be here.
Pleasure to have you. So why don't we talk about your journey as a photographer? When was the first time you realized that you have an interest in photography?
Actually, that story goes a way behind. When I was in high school, I loved to be in front of the camera, and did some small time modeling when I was in Pune. And that was that. After that, I finished my engineering. I was working as an engineer. Then once when I was in Canada on an assignment, my brother came and visited me, and he had this nice shiny new SLR. It was film at that point, and I very conveniently borrowed it for good. And I still have that camera, actually. So that is how my interest in photography started. So I would take some photos and put it in a shoebox, and when I showed it to people, I used to get consistently good comments on some of those. And then I started thinking more about it. Did some studying on my own, and that's how the photography bug.
So did you take any formal training as well besides doing the studying yourself?
No, I didn't take any formal training in the sense of like going to school or anything like that. I did do a few courses just to understand the technical aspects about photography, and to make it more producible from a technical point of view. And that's about it. After that, I feel it's up to you. It's up to your eye, what you see through your lens. That makes a difference. And
so, as they say, it's not the tools that makes the engineer. It's the same way. It's not the camera that makes the photographer.
Yes. I strongly believe that, and I've been lucky.
That's good. Now, you are a full-time photographer. So when did you make that switch from engineering to being a full-time photographer?
So 2000. This was in 2007. A friend of mine and myself, we just said, hey, let's do photography. And my hobby kind of went dormant for a little bit after having kids, and so it went dormant, and I said, yeah, this is a good way to kind of pick up the hobby once again, and that's how we started. And then from 2009 onwards, I went full-time. 2009
onwards, and you started doing, when you became a full-time photographer, you started covering events, or what was your journey like from there on?
Yeah, I always loved taking portraits of people, and that is the thing that kind of interested me the most. There's just like so many levels of expressions and even personalities that you want to show, and that's where I found my niche. I started with portraits, with events, and also weddings. And I love doing weddings. I just love weddings. I've done all type of weddings that you can imagine right now. White gown weddings, Asian weddings, Indian weddings, and I think I'm settling more on Indian weddings now.
So since you transitioned into being such a pro wedding photographer, I'm sure you've done so many, but have you seen a change in the way weddings are done nowadays? Because I believe they've become more elaborate, and a lot of effort goes on in putting together wedding events, and the number of wedding events per wedding has also increased. So from a photographer's perspective, do you see a change that has happened over a period of time, and also with regards to social media now coming into the picture?
Yes, there's clearly been a good bit of difference over the last, I want to say, 8 to 10 years that I've been sort of observing weddings very closely. Some of the main things are, the tools have changed, and that has enabled us to do a whole lot more within that given environment. So from that point of view, the photography, the level of photography, the level of the cinematography has clearly gone up, and that's just from a photography and a cinematography point of view. The other part is the storytelling that goes on, after you cover the event. In terms of the overall wedding events, there are two perspectives. There's one of the perspectives is what happens in India, and there really that is the place where the trends are being set right now,
sure.
And have been, and that is going on over the last, I would say 7-8 years.
Sure.
But now, I mean, that you see something like totally different over there.
Really?
And we are still kind of catching up a little bit to that.
So what exactly is the difference? Elaborating more on the differences between the weddings that are happening here in the US of Indian families versus the weddings that are happening all the way in India, in Mumbai or Delhi or the metropolitan cities over there. So what is the main difference you see?
I think the main difference is in how the event is being put together. So from a traditional point of view, from a ceremonial point of view, it's still fairly similar. Okay, we still have the same ceremonies. The way it's split across the number of days in India is definitely different. The way it's split over here, where we are more kind of tied down to the weekends.
Yeah.
That constraint is still there.
Sure.
Here. But more in terms of, I think, the experience of the wedding and the event, if by extension.
Sure.
So a lot of focus is going over there, and not to say that it's not happening over here, but here it's still being planned in piecemeal, And I think we can learn from some of the ways that the experience is being delivered. Versus the things that are the individual things that are being delivered, and just have to get that more into an experience. Obviously over there, we do have the flexibility of creating a set, overnight.
Right. The resources are very different over there. And is it? Do you see a lot of people going from here all the way to India to hold the weddings over there?
I don't think so.
No,
not much. And again, not to say that it's absolutely not happening, but not much. I think the bride and groom who are over here, who are maybe second, third generation, they prefer to have their weddings over here. One good thing I do want to say about the weddings in US, North America, is that they are definitely more intimate. Because the bride and groom do know most of the guests, and it's a smaller guest set.
It's a more personal experience.
Correct.
Probably than over there. It's more like a family affair and a huge gathering.
Right, and that has its own charm. Has a very different feel to it over there, and whereas over here it is more intimate, and you see the bride and groom are more involved, and they're on the dance floor, and they're partying with everyone, and that is different.
Right. The inhibitions are less too, probably over there from a groom and the bride perspective.
Right.
So.
The one thing what I would like to see that I miss about the weddings in India is the pool parties. The pool parties are just just awesome, and I hope that comes in over here at some point.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. So your journey with as a photographer matured even more, I believe, when you joined the Wedding Story, because now it's a whole different way of covering the entire event and presenting the entire event. So, love to hear more about the wedding story and your association with the company.
So the wedding story was started by my good friend Harpreet Bashir in Mumbai, and Harpreet and I were collaborating on a few projects before the wedding story was formed, and even after the wedding story was formed, we were collaborating on certain weddings together. Over time, we realized, okay, it just makes sense to kind of get everything under the wedding story umbrella, and that's how the wedding story was formed. I still have my company, Timeless Lens, under which I do more of my corporate and portraits, but all our weddings are under the wedding story banner. What that gave us is it gave us a consistency in terms of the back-end workflow, more from the cinematography point of view. We really thought, there is so much more that we can do with how we present weddings and how someone would want to remember their wedding afterwards. So if there's one way to look at a wedding as an event, and yes, you want to cover that, but sometimes the backstory of the bride and groom is kind of left out of that, and we never really truly understand, even when we attend a wedding, that why is it that the bride and groom are getting married today, right? So that is, we wanted to bring that story into the wedding video, right? And without that story, we never had a film, and that is why now, with the story, we are able to truly make a film, and call it a wedding film.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm sure there's a huge team that works together to make that happen.
Any production like this cannot be done by just one person. It's always a team effort. Whether it's our team in Mumbai, our team over here in US, it is always a team effort. And we are nothing without our team.
Yeah, sure.
And not only our technical team who's present on the day, covering the wedding or any other event, but the back end team, our editors, they are the people who really polish the diamond in the rough, and create those final beautiful films that we see.
Sure. Now I'm going to ask you the hardest question now. Everyone, I guess, every person who's working in a professional environment obviously loves everything that they do, and they're passionate about it enough to do it continuously over and over, and continue to be in that domain. But when asked, do you have a favorite event or a favorite wedding that you covered, that's what I want to know from you. It may be the hardest question because I know all of them you must have enjoyed equally, but do you have one that kind of stayed with you as, as a part of the whole project or journey? Told you it was hard.
That is a tough question, and I'll tell you why it's tough. I really enjoy every wedding that I cover, and one of the reasons why I still do weddings is because every wedding is different. Okay, and that's what keeps me on my toes, and that's when I perform the best.
One last question, Nabil. What's your favorite part of being a wedding photographer?
As I said in the beginning, I love weddings, okay? Whether we're doing the photography, cinematography, because there's never a dull moment, okay? Yes, everyone is happy and all that is going on, but really, Indian weddings, I mean, nothing compares to that. The colors, the loudness, the drama that's there, that is what makes me wake up in the morning, sometimes very early in the morning, and cover weddings. And really, there are no two weddings that I can say that these two weddings were just alike. There's always something a little unique about it. And I guess that's what keeps me going. That's where my adrenaline goes high, and that's where I perform the best. So.
Excellent,
yeah.
excellent. We can see the excitement and we can feel the passion in the work that you do, and it definitely shows in your work too. So keep up the good work. You're very inspiring to a lot of people out there who are dreaming to follow a similar journey as yours. So we wish you all the best, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.